I'd like to drill down on some of the foundational false claims in gender medicine that really show us that the problem goes all the way to the root. This can actually be awkward to focus on because the false claims are not just made by gender doctors. In much of the country, that jargon is part of our normal lexicon now. For example, sex assigned at birth. Lots of everyday people are using it because they think it's the nice thing to do. But once you realize how harmful gender ideology is, I think that people can maybe start trading in those phrases. So I'll start with sex assigned at birth. Sex is not assigned at birth, so that is a false statement. The words assigned at birth imply that sex can change. So for young patients, especially in a gender clinic, they show up because they want to change sex. And when doctors tell them sex is just an assignment, they get the idea they'll be getting a sex change. And it's important to note under the FTC Act that it does matter who the target audience is. So even if you're an adult and you think, well, that phrase is innocuous, I know what sex assigned at birth means, I know it's just meant to be nice, well, we must look at it in terms of the patient population that's hearing it, and these are distressed children, so it is deceptive toward them. Second, this is a big one, gender identity. Doctors claim that consumers, patients, have a gender identity that is incongruent with their body, but it's impossible for gender identity to be different from a body or the same as a body, because gender identity, the way it is defined by gender doctors, has no definition, it has no properties. So this is an important point. I think a lot of people assume that gender identity means wanting to be one sex or the other. And gender doctors almost make it look like that's what they mean, because they say that gender identity can be male, female, or something else. But it's a trick, because remember, gender doctors think that a male is anybody who says they're a male. So it's a circular definition, like gender identity is somebody who has a male gender identity kind of thing. And then the doctors just double down on their deception when they try to kind of add more verbiage to make it seem like gender identity does have properties and it's not just a circle. So just to give you some examples, Jack Turbin wrote in the New York Times, the most basic part of gender identity is a person's transcendent sense of gender. And this was the New York Times, and he did not define the term gender after referring to the transcendent sense of it, instead writing that gender, quote, goes beyond language. Another gender doctor, a pediatrician, wrote that gender is a, quote, multi-dimensional concept with complex expressions, and that it is related and distinct from sex in ways that modern science is still exploring. So she's going to know the definition of gender in the future, once science is done.